Greetings, sunshines and sunnies. It is I, Queen J Lotus King Sunkiss, coming at y'all right quick, right fast, certainly for the season finale review for Reasonable Doubt. And the name of this is on to the next one. Now, y'all, when I first saw the name of this episode, I was like, okay, Jack's probably gonna win the case because they say on to the next one, which means that like we're gonna get quite a bit of shit wrapped up kind of quick, and then move on to the next one. Start looking at, the next things for us to be looking at. All right? So, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into the specificities of this episode. Just a little disclaimer. I don't usually be giving out disclaimers and whatnot, but I feel a need to in this moment because the dishwasher is very obnoxious at the moment. So, please, you know what I'm saying? Bear with me. Okay? I appreciate you. So it opens up where it left off from the last episode with Kristen and Daniel sitting on the dock of the bay, sitting on the stoop of Ozzy's cabin, and she's shaking and baking, got a gun in her hand, frazzled. She done admitted to killing the dog, basically. So Daniel is now trying to ask her, did she kill Wendy? But right before she can answer, he get the phone call, the notification that the jury has deliberated and come to a decision about what they're gonna do with Ozzy. So they round up everything and they ski-daddle. But before they leave, Kristen lets him know that as they head there, all this, that, and the third, she'll give him the rundown on what it is that had happened was. So we get a flashback to 6 months later. I want to point out something about this episode too already. So the parallels of the sitcom theme, y'all know Ozzy was on the sitcom, right? And I noticed quite a few things that have the sitcom theme throughout this season, but also specifically, y'all know on almost every sitcom, specifically like from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, I think even a lot of them in the early 2000s, a lot of them would have a specific episode where something drastic would happen, and then, nobody wants to straight up admit what happened, and whoever's in authority, the parent, the uncle, the auntie, whatever, they be like, okay, we're gonna go one by one, each one of y'all tell y'all side of the story. So like on Good Times, it was Penny had done set the couch on fire, so all of them went through telling what it was, their perspective of what had happened was. I believe it was an episode of Fresh Prince like that. I forgot exactly what the subject matter was, but yeah, y'all know what I'm talking about. So this episode kind of had that effect where it's this drastic thing that's happened. Of course, that's the death of Wendy, and now this is the episode where we get different characters giving their rendition of what had happened was. So we here with Kristen. Like I said, we flash back to 6 months earlier. And, Ozzy has a dispute with his mama. She like, you ain't firing me. You won't go over there with your snow bunny and all this and that and the third, but fuck that. Let me show you what you been up to. So that's when she supposedly, enlightened him to the video. All of that. He heartbroken, distraught and disheveled. So he confronts Wendy, cussing her the fuck out, talking about you out here being a freak, cowgirl, giddy up. Lying and smiling in my face like you just all this here and there. All right? No. You ain't like I'm fucking crazy. You fucking crazy. All right? They say crazy pussy is the best pussy. Now, sir. Hold up. Okay, hold up. You see a baby coming to you, what's the hold up? You must calm down. That's unnecessary. Like, this ain't how you confront nobody. You gotta have a conversation like an adult. But we do understand at this point that he has conduct, I forgot exactly what it's called, but basically he has a disorder where he don't conduct himself well under pressure. So he's not conducting himself very well under pressure here. So of course they show the consistency of where he goes outside, he cussing her out, they cussing each other out, and then she storms out, she leaves. So what it show is that she ends up leaving, going over to I can't tell, I guess we'll see in a second, but I couldn't tell if she went to, no, she couldn't have went to the cabin, she went to the parents' house because then they took her to the cabin. In the meantime, in between time, Monica comes to the house and is trying to push up on him, like she's trying to check on him and all of this shit, but she really just trying to get in and finagle him into a whole entanglement of sorts. And this is how he gets the scratches on his shit, because she had grabbed him, he grabbed her, and they had a misunderstanding of body language type shit, and she ends up, he pushes her off him, her nails are in his chest and all of that. That's how he got scratched. So she ends up leaving. Alex ends up coming over. So this is the consistency of the story. Alex ends up coming over. They getting high as fuck, gets him lit. Then they decide to go on over to the cabin. Now, a discrepancy in Ozzy's story, him talking about he don't know how to get out there to the cabin. Remember what I said about that's some bullshit in 2025. Because even if you don't know the exact directions, you know how to get the directions. I'm sure that they're in your phone, they're on your person some type of way. Like, come on now, we're tech savvy. Like, come on now, you're in the age group, we're in the age group of tech savviness, so all of that, shut up. He sent the damn location to Alex, so boom, TikTok. Anyway. But the thing was, he had left his phone at home, so that is also why nothing on his phone pinged to him having had left the house, because he left, but he left his phone at the house. So they get out there to the cabin and pull up. Okay, by this time they at the cabin. By this time, like in the meantime, between time, they ain't shown exactly what happened, how Wendy got out there. But I'ma just, well, we're going through Kristen's story. So this is how Kristen is telling it, y'all. All right. So Ozzy pull up. He get out. Alex stay in the car. He goes in. He is stumbling and fumbling and all this, that, and the third. Kristen come out. She like, oh, whoa, hold up. Okay, hold up. You see a baby coming to you. What's the hold up? Baby got Wendy held up on the inside, tied all up, blood pouring profusely. That's how you say the word. From her noggin. Ozzy is like, what the fuck is this? Quick before the hyena come. What is you done? Now, this is when it flashes back to him and her, you know, finally heading out to the thing. We're not gonna worry about that. But what it shows in her flashback, because I hate going through all that back and forth in the flashbacks and shit when I'm reviewing. So what it ends up showing from her side of the story. Ozzy tries to untie her, all of that shit. He too goddamn high and then gets too fucking worked up from what's going on and he ends up passing out. So this kind of shows us what was going on in his dreams, the flashback type dreams that he was having. Again, another reason why Jack's hard-headed ass should have not only had him in therapy, but should have been like going deeper with him, listening to him about what he's talking about with these dreams. Take him to some damn hypnotherapy and shit, because all of this could have been unpacked to some degree. So like I said, we see like where the collection of images was coming from in his psyche that was showing up in his dream realm. Whereas he saw Monica tying Wendy up in the chair, but he heard his voice. So it's like he knew that he had been there to some degree, like his soul self, his psyche, his subconscious knew that he was there. He knew that he had touched Wendy, that he had touched the ropes and all of that good stuff. He knew something. Okay, he merged together the images of Monica and his sister, which will make sense. Black lady with curly hair. So like that's what his mind did. Black lady with curly hair, who I care about. Okay, so they were there, and then of course he did see Monica that night. So it was like the lapse of his memory. He saw Monica before he got high as fuck. He saw Kristen after the fact that he was already high as the fuck. So again, makes sense how his senses of realities, the realities of his memories and all of that shit got all merged and lost in the sauce together and all that. So yeah, he ends up passing out. And in the meantime, between time, Kristen trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. Wendy ends up getting herself loose, runs the fuck off. And Alex is like, whoa, what the fuck is going on? As he sees Wendy run out, Kristen come out, boom, boom, pew, pew, pow, pow, bang, bang, shots ring out, okay? Terrible. So that's her side of the story. She tell it like she did the thing. Okay? Even from jump, initially hearing that, I ain't believe it because I don't believe shit that come out Kristen's mouth. I don't believe shit that come out of her mouth. The reason why I believed her about the dog, for one, I expected that about her about the dog in the first place. But in her, you know, saying in her delivery of how she was talking about the dog, because that's the one time that she's speaking in a disheveled manner. Anytime she's speaking a little bit too fluently, I don't believe shit that she's saying like something about. And from where it's shown, like when they pick back up on her and Daniel talking in the middle of the shit, like she had done pulled together her position, her disposition too well, and that's like what gave me the notion of like, nah, she lying. This is her lying posture. She know she can't put it on too much because she just got through boohooing and like, you know, looking like she was fixing to go ahead and check up out of here, like talking about on her own terms. So yeah, but after all of that, we pick back up in the courtroom. Long story short, they find your boy not guilty. Now, honey, when this verdict dropped, I was like, something real bad is about to happen. And it made me feel like even more that he, like, right when this happened, I was like, he's gonna be the one that is laid out in the flow. You know, from the scene that we had shown, that we had been shown and all of that shit. Right from this moment, I was like, he's gonna be the one laid out in the flow, because either he is not gonna be able to like handle this new freedom like talking about for real, and he might get out and be just, you know, binging, doing the fucking most, and end up fucked up like talking about, or it'll be like one thing that like sets him off, and then it's just downhill from there type shit. And or he go get himself caught up in some more shit. Like that was another thing that I was thinking, like also because of the title of the show, the title of the episode being on to the next one, I was like, this man finna be like a Ray J, Bobby Brown, Chris Brown ass, Tory Lanez, the baby ass nigga for real, where he get off on this one case and then he just keep getting cases after cases after cases, like talking about keeping Jax busy like a mug. But before we get too far in the episode and shit, we get up out of there as they're rejoicing and celebrating and all of that for the not guilty verdict. We press forward and we pick back up with Louis, and he is at work, and he is talking to this beautiful, pretty, fine, brown, driving me wild. Oh. Child, and she looks similar to Jax and their daughter. Just interesting. I wonder if we're gonna see more of her, if she's gonna play a larger role than snitching on Sam, who is the dude that I be talking about, like the money, T.I.'s son. Anyway, so she come in. Her name is Lena. And see, they even gave her a name. We said her name, so we must gonna see her some more. Anyway. And she cute for toots. Anyway, He talking about, Lena, yo, Sam hit me up, okay? His shit still shoddy. I think that we finna have to fire him, you know? I don't think it's gonna work. I was trying to, you know, talk him up, give him some extra, read all about it, but we're gonna have to figure something out, but I don't know, because he got a baby on the way, so I might not be able to do it, you know what I'm talking about, this and that, da da da. And Lena like, what? What is he talking about? He got a girlfriend? He got a girlfriend, but he always bragging about his Tinder account? Hold up. Okay, hold up. You see a baby coming to you. What's the hold up? Check it out. So, Louis is looking dumbfounded, egg on his face, sick of the shit. Picks up his iPad and hands it to old girl. He said, okay, so I was thinking he was gonna hand it to her to like go to the profile and, you know, show him what she's talking about. But he said basically he gave him something else to do. So it's a particular file in his iPad system. And in a nutshell, this lets us know that he's building documentation on Sam. He's been building documentation on Sam, and he just gave him something basically to solidify putting the nail in the coffin. And this is why I be saying stop just thinking that Louis is just a punk ass bitch that just absolutely don't know what the fuck he doing. Can he be a little bit too heart driven at times? Perhaps he is. And you know, it can seem like he being a pushover and just letting people fuck over him type shit. Because, you know, fool me once, you can't get food again. Howsoever, you have to also understand that in this company, it is a business, there is protocols. He can't just up and fire him. Like, it's contracts and shit. If he was working like an at-will type of job, then it would be different. But that's not what's going on. Y'all know? So, and in this case, like where it's at with it too, Louis is also having to protect himself and his own best interest in the process of defending and cleaning up the mess and all of this shit. And I also want people to stop fucking acting like, and I'm talking about black people especially and specifically, because when conversations about nepotism come up, when conversations about racism and discrepancies and shit in the workforce and in the legal system and all this, that, and the third, and schooling system and all of that shit, is black people always talking about, oh, we'll never look out for each other, we'll never give each other a chance. Like, oh, if I was in that position, I would give my brother a leg up, I would be more empathetic, I would hear them out, I would, you know what I'm saying, if they said something about having a baby on the way, like I would try to find a way to give them paid leave. I would give her time off if she was having her period and wouldn't make a fuss about it. So stop fucking acting. Stop fucking acting, because these are conversations that we're always having and literally like been in a constant process of trying to figure out where to draw the line, where to set the boundaries, as well as where to give the leeway. Because of course other races are doing it, and not even just because other races are doing it, but also like that's a thing. Like a lot of people are not taught this, and in society we're conditioned to feel like love and money is separate, but in actuality that's not true. Businesses prosper best when true love and respect are in the fucking room with us. Because if you don't have true love and respect for what you're doing and who you're doing it with, you not gonna fucking put what you need into it for real, and it's not going to be stable. Just like in loving relationships, if you don't handle it with love and respect, let alone like there are certain things that are business elements like money, bills, prioritization, budgets, things of that nature, needing resources and how to distribute them and balance them and set boundaries and all of that shit, it all goes together. It all goes together. So yes, every race of people should be having these conversations. As a human race, we should be having these conversations and unpacking these things with balance and from a higher standpoint of when is the time and the place to have a heart in business? When is the time and the place to have a business mind in heart spaces? When is the time and the place? Where do you draw the lines? Where do you be open-hearted and give the leeway? Because there is a time and a place for everything. So I had to emphasize that as fuck, because it'd be amazing me how people be going so fucking hard on Louis, when I guarantee if they were in like those types of positions, they would not know what the fuck to do, especially if they weren't able to cuss somebody out or snatch their wig or read them for the filth, or just automatically just say, oh, you could get the fuck out because I pay the bills, or you could get the fuck out because I'm the boss, I'm the manager, I'm your boss, da 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 da. No, if you were in an actual position that actually required you to be a master of war, and being a master of war is not just chopping people fucking head off just because you feel like it. This show is about justice, and just like, you know, I saw and heard a lot of people asking, what's the purpose of Louis's storyline? What's the purpose of seeing him go through this? Because it has to do with justice. There are so many different levels and dimensions to so many different words, including justice. This show has a major theme of justice because we're dealing with the legal system. And yes, in the workforce, there are legalities also. And not only when it comes to these business, earthly, you know, masculine things, does it require and have to do with justice. Justice is a multi-dimensional thing. Even in your intimate relationships, there must be a frequency of justice. And in order to understand that for real, you have to also understand what the fuck does judgment mean. Because there's a hell of a lot of people that think that judgment is making a simple observation, having an opinion, having a perspective on something, when in actuality, judgment is making the decision about what is supposed to happen or what you feel like the person deserves as a result of your thoughts and or opinion and or perspective. Just as, for example, last season with Chanel, the jury, if I'm not mistaken, they found her guilty. The jury found her guilty. That was their thought, opinion, observation, perspective. But the judgment was in the judge's hands, and he gave her no jail time. He decided that he felt as though she did not deserve jail time. Capiche? All right, moving forward. Who said it? Is that Misha? Shout out to Miss Misha. So yeah, as I said, there is strength in Lewis's heartfeltness and him not being so quick to just be like off with their head as shit, because he's building documentation. And this is another reason also why people have to stop demonizing making mistakes, because through these mistakes that Lewis is making, he's learning from them as he goes. That's strength as fuck. Anyway, so pressing forward, and we back at the ranch with Jax and everybody else, and they are raising their glasses to the success of the Cage Child. And so we got Ozzy and Kristen chatting, and Kristen is apologizing to Ozzy deeply. She's apologizing to him for a hell of a lot of things that he don't even know that she's apologizing for. And so it's like very, very layered. It's kind of creepy. The vibe of this whole episode is creepy, especially because I can tell that something bad is about to happen. Like they did a really great job with the catharticism. They did a really great job with the catharticism. Because, like I said, everybody is jovial. The characters and all are so celebratory and all of this and that and the third. And just as an audience member, I can tell, like, it's like the beginning of a horror movie where the whole crew, the family, the friends, whoever they are, they all like, oh, we're going on this vacation. Oh, this house is great. Oh, it's just going to be a wonderful time. Oh, it's a new beginning to our lives. It's happily ever after. And then, boom, somebody done got their head chopped off in the shower. Like, that's how it feels. Like, it just, because you know you went to see a horror movie, and it's just real, real happy at the beginning, but you know you don't need to be getting attached to these people. But yeah, y'all got it. So, so in the midst of all of this, Daniel comes in. Of course, he got to lay the lowdown on Jax. Right? Now, Big Daddy and Little Daddy start commiserating with Bill. And he like, despite the fact that he didn't do the closing, you gotta admit that Jax killed it. They like, she did indeed. So he's going up, he's doting on her, and they're like, yeah, we're excited to bring you to the firm and see everything is not in vain and all of this and that. And Little Daddy mentioned, you know, so yeah, she's a pain in the ass and this and the third. So Bill claps back and it's like, look, she's not a pain in the ass. She is damn great at her fucking job. She's keeping the lights on here, keeping y'all's bills paid and y'all fucking champagne glasses filled. And no. So how about y'all start putting some respect on her name? All two of y'all put some respect on her name. So they're gonna try to clap back and counteract, talking about, so I guess she all of this and that, and she did all of this and that. I guess you ain't do Nathaniel. So I guess our thoughts and reasonings for thinking that we need to bring you on over to us with a new firm is for Nathaniel. Huh, he was a little puppy. So just get to stepping. Now, as we leave out from this conversation, Bill is looking ponderful, which one the word is appropriate. So now, back on over across the way, Jackson, Daniel is talking, and Daniel is laying on her what Kristen had done told her. And the part that he's filling in that we didn't see from what Kristen said is that Wendy had done went over there, got into it with all of them and the folks. One way or another, some pause was put on her. She hit her head on the table, and they Kristen ended up rushing her up to the cabin to try to, you know, cloak it, finish the job, do, you know, whatever. Honey. But they're talking about the intention was just to threaten her to stay quiet and basically, I guess, use the injuries as an incentive. Honey. A shame and a scandal. So, so yeah, and Kristen is the one who dumped her belongings, her phone, her her bag, all of that shit. She dumped her shit and kept it on pushing up the road, fucking it all up. So yeah. And y'all know I already gave y'all the rundown of all the rest of the shit. So now they looking on, right? And Jax is looking on not only at Kristen and how everybody is in here wearing these phantom masks like talking about, but we also getting some looks at Lil Daddy, Big Daddy, Bill, just everybody in their room is just looking like a bomb, just looking real questionable. Real questionable. So we picked back up at the house with Lewis and Jax, and he trying to figure out, you know, what music genre they feeling for the night. She like, what vibe you trying to create? He like, look, we doing some double date shit. So what you think? Okay, am I emphasizing that I love my wife, or is we just emphasizing that we just all a crew and we just in here doing what we do? And Jax is like, look, well, I wrote this here for you. Okay, and I had completely forgot that Cash Girl is Essence Atkins' character, and she stepped in here looking like Tambra Cherie. Child, if you from Mississippi and or you know, if you watch Bell Collective, you'll know who Tambra Cherie is. If you don't, then Whatever. Anyway, so they all come in. Cash and old girl is finally engaged, and so this scene ain't like too much on Nathaniel, but I feel like it's just to give us the notion that Cash and Essence Ekins, even though we didn't see a whole lot of them throughout this season, it's kind of like a reality show in a way where you know that if they just keep popping in and making themselves relevant to some degree, they're gonna keep being brought back. And so we can expect to see them next season. I feel like with them bringing them in right at on the last episode, and then her and Cash start talking about her and Bill's dynamic and how she feeling like she can't trust him and all of that, and how she feel like he's much more aligned with Vince and Steven than wants to admit. And just giving him the whole rundown, everything they was putting on her, everything that she was having to look over her shoulder, honey, when it came down to it. And he just like, ooh, damn, break it down, tisk. And he like, look, these are my confessions. Last time I was in LA, Vince and Steven, that's Big Daddy and Lil Daddy, by the way. He's like, last time he was in LA, Big Daddy and Lil Daddy had approached him, trying to bring him onto the team, trying to get in his mind about this and that, low-key, high-key, like they going over her head and behind their back, trying to, what I feel like, bring as many men onto the team as they can to eventually try to gang up on her and push her out and or run her off. And so all the way down to he was like, they were willing to like offer her a buyout for the sake of bringing him on. So basically, what it seemed like is he was upcharging the fuck out of them. Like, it seemed like they were really persistent, like similar to how they were with Bill. They were really persistent in trying to get him onto the team. And so eventually he was just like, look, upcharging, trying to shoot him away. But they were like, look, we'll offer her a buyout just so we can pay you. Like, this is how much we are wanting to bring you on, and ain't really fucking with her. Which is fucked up. Which is like super duper uber going, like, fucked up. And even though, and I want to point this out too, because it's not much of a difference between Cash and Bill. It's really not much of a difference between them. Both of them have had this thing of using their dick privilege, However, a difference I do notice is Bill has the sensation of respect for Jax for real, and has actually spoke on it and acted on it, right? What I notice here, the discrepancies are with both of these men is at certain points in times, it's male solidarity, and then another divide going on is the solidarity aspect. And remember, I brought up the black solidarity that I was noticing, I think it was the previous episode and the episode before that, and I was like, I feel like a lot of, like, throughout this process, throughout this case, it's been a lot of the black characters blowing smoke up Jackson's ass a lot of the time, and it's given like it's just because they're operating in black solidarity. Like, even with some of the judges' decisions when it came to the objections that were being given and things that were being thrown out in the courtroom, I felt like a lot of the time, no matter how well the exotic white man's points were and the stuff that he was saying, no matter how much it made sense, he was just going along with Jax simply off of black solidarity. Crystal, a lot of them, I feel like they were going off of Jax simply off black solidarity. And what is that same thing that I was just talking about over with Lewis? So again, I say to those of you who be having whatever this fucking issue is with Lewis, it's like it's cool when they do it, it's a problem when Lewis do it. This operating in black solidarity. Again, this is something that a lot of black people encourage until it's a black person that they have been conditioned not to like, until it's a black person that they have been conditioned to attack just because they're not in the exact form that you've been taught and conditioned, brainwashed to think that they're supposed to show up as. But the same fucking shit is going on. Lewis was having black solidarity as well as operating in, compassion and empathy all at the same time. When it comes to Jack's neck of the woods, they were using empathy and sympathy, but that wasn't like really the foundation of type shit that was going on and decisions that was being made by certain black characters. It had more to do with black solidarity. And even go back and look at the review and listen at my commentary on when Bill met with Beige Rage and the things that I discussed going on there. So I know I'm not fucking crazy. All right, because that is what's going on. I believe that Bill in particular has an implicit bias, that conditioning, that training from, upbringing in society and not having the extra examples and maybe not even having the soul set to be truly outstanding. Just having if I can't beat them, join them type of mentality. Because Bill clearly has sensations of integrity, nobility, respect, things of that nature, but he's weak-minded. He's weak-minded and spineless when it comes to a majority coming down on his head. All of these male characters exhibit spinelessness to some degree, honey, but it's only Lewis that be getting tapped up. But Lewis be the only fucking person learning from his mistakes and be actually coming from a pure place, right? But so yeah, Cash undermined the fuck out of Jax last season. He undermined the fuck out of her this season. In the very beginning, when it came to him accepting his reward, he could have went out of her way to have her an award made, to push for her to, you know, be on the stage with him, accepting, giving the accolades and all of that, but he didn't. And at different times, he took slick shade at her and was like digging the knife in and rubbing it in. But now you want to come back in and approaching her and want to give her the lowdown on everything that's been going on and this and that, simply off of black solidarity. It's not because you truly respect her on a soul set or emotional level for real. You don't truly respect her, because when the white men were out of it, when none of that had nothing to do with any of it, you didn't give a fuck for real. You didn't give a fuck. You took all of her fucking ideas, all of her fucking hard work, and you took credit for it. You may have gave her, you know, an ounce of praise when it was just you and her one-on-one, but you didn't give her what the fuck she deserved either. And you part of the reason why she been walking around jaded with a chip on her shoulder and having like extra vitriol for certain people, you know, even more than what they may have deserved, and in certain cases shit that they didn't deserve at all. But now you want to come in like this here, like you just a better nigga. Well, honey, fuck who you is, who you want to be. Don't be better, be the best, goddamn. So as much as this is great that, you know, Cash came in and gave her the lowdown, told her something that she needed to do, that's what the fuck he's supposed to do, and I'm not giving him no more than that, because you not know better for real. You not know better for real. You just operating like a robot like every fucking body else. Because like I said, you don't respect her for real either. When you had the opportunity, you shitted on her too. You took credit for her shit too. And allowed for everybody else to open that gateway up. It's a part of you carrying yourself a certain way. And listen at this, black men, black women, okay? Just like in a regular household. When other men see that you're falling the fuck off, as a when outside men see that the inside man, the in-house man, is disrespecting the women, those outside men see that as an invitation to come in and just further oppress everything else that's going on over there. So yes, when black men are publicly disrespectful as fuck and disregarding as fuck to black women, that sets a tone, that sends a message to every other man in the world, every other type of man in the world that is looking for an opportunity and a reason and a justification to disrespect black women. They see it right there as that. So yes, when Cash was walking around taking credit for all Jack's work, shitting on her, disregarding her, taking cheap shots at her, all of them outside men was taking notes on that shit and was like, ooh, yeah, shit sweet, about to go dog pile on this bitch. Yeah. I want y'all to really pay attention. I want y'all to really pay attention, because there be some people I be hearing and listening to that be like responding to like a lot of these shows, and this one in particular, and they be like, bro, you so lost in the sauce and being led by your coochie and being led by your dick that you cannot see what the fuck is going on here, which is, we can go to fuck in on Bill. We can go to fuck in on Lewis and hold like each person accountable when it's time to hold them accountable. But let's not get lost in the sauce of Morris Chestnut being so damn fine. Cash ain't shit either. But let Lewis worship the ground that Jax walk on, and y'all calling him all types of bitch ass niggas and ain't got no spine, and Jax needs to give him his balls back and all of this other fucking shit. But then at the same time, y'all will be the same ones online talking about, oh, I wish a man would worship me. I wish a man would da-da-da-da-da. I wish a man would da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then you see a man doing that for another woman. He like, oh, he a bitch ass nigga. He a film. He a this, he a that. And then the man that's taking cheap shots at her, disrespecting and disregarding her, taking credit for all her fucking work, only defending her when it's a white man disrespecting her. That's like, side note, I was watching, I don't know, it just so happened to be on the TV, and the subject matter caught my attention. The Jeffersons, I ain't ever watched the Jeffersons for real. I know about it, of course, I done seen it on and whatnot, but I ain't ever watched it. But this particular day, it caught my attention. It was the episode about all of the housekeepers trying to start a union. Modern day, I would call them house managers. In this time period, they were called maids, but you know, housekeeper was like the more formal tone. So yeah, all of them, including Florence, that's the housekeeper on there, that's the Jefferson's housekeeper, they were all trying to put together a union. Weezy was talking about, oh yeah, I think it's a great idea. I used to be a maid and I wish that we had the courage to put together something like this. And originally, George was on board. He didn't have no problem with it. He was like, okay, yeah, that's great. Y'all can have y'all meetings here and all that shit. But as soon as the white neighbor started complaining about it, then George wanted to be like, oh no, y'all can't do that shit here. Y'all gotta get the fuck out, because this is the truth that a lot of people don't want to accept about a lot of black men too, and how they are conditioned and things of that nature, which is to aspire to be like a lot of white, racist, bigoted, trash ass white men. That's why a lot of shit be going in one ear and out the other and not truly fertile, no matter how knowledgeable the niggas really are. It's because you saying one thing, but your heart set, your foundation, your motivation for real is to just do the same thing that those evil white men are doing. So yeah, he starts to switch up and all this and that and the third, and he's really like digging his toes into it until the white man first snaps at Florence. Weezy defends her, and the white man snaps at Weezy. Then George jumps in and is like, look, I let you slide getting on my maid, but now you're not finna fucking talk to my wife like this. Ain't nobody gonna talk to my wife like that. You only stepped up not to protect your wife, but to protect your property and to try to protect your dickhood, because you felt like that white man was oppressing you. You saw that white man was oppressing you and didn't have no respect for you because it showed in a way that he didn't have no respect for your property from your perspective. I'm speaking from George's perspective here. It didn't have shit to do with him truly defending an honor. And it was so fucking disgusting to me to see all of those women, the housekeepers and Weezy, lifting him up with praise, like literally picking him up and lifting him up on their shoulders with praise, applauding, and all of this and that and the third for doing something that he should have done in the first place, which is standing 10 toes down on what he truly believed in the first place. Not when you feel like now this white man is coming onto your property and disrespecting you. You realize that he don't respect you as a person, let alone as a man, no matter how much money you have, no matter how you living in a deluxe apartment in the sky high. Don't give a fuck about that, because at the end of the day, you black and everybody else up in here is black, and besides you, everybody else up in here got pussies. So fuck you for real, fuck them. Gave you your little praise for your little tap dance that you did, but fuck that shit. So like I said, all of that to say, Cash and George Jefferson in this case ain't no fucking different. And now we press forward. Jax is meeting up with baby sis Chelsea, and they is commiserating and discussing all of the things, catching up. And in a nutshell, Chelsea is basically trying to speak for herself. I do feel like Chelsea is a con artist. I feel like it's dual. I feel like it's very dual. I kind of feel like she is like Two-Face, where one side of her does really want to get to know Jax and put her on game and, you know, have a chance at this relationship, but the other side of her doesn't know any other way to make connections besides doing it through the way her daddy has grown her to be, which is to be a con artist. Like, that's truly a thing. Like, there are certain people who genuinely, on a soul level, heart level, they want to love the right way. They really want to love in a true, pure manner, but they have an extremely hard time breaking out of what their parents and what the village put into them is like a love language. So they be trying to make connections, they be trying to bond, but the only way they know how to do that is by causing trauma. Now, this don't mean that you make excuses and allow these people to stay in your life. This is so that you are aware that some people, no matter how much they really want to do good, they are just incapable of breaking out of what was put into them. They lack the capacity to put into action the sensations that they feel. And I feel like that's what's going on with Chelsea. Because even when she was talking to their daddy, it was a side of her that was showing like she really don't want to be in that life. She just doing what she's been taught and what she feel like she's supposed to do and how she think life is supposed to go. And so, yeah. And so, I said all that to say, you know, that's like the rundown that Chelsea was giving to Jax, because Jax was kind of getting to the nitty gritty with her, like, why now? Why you want to fuck with me? We ain't been together all this time. What would be the point? Like, basically asking her to sell herself type shit. So, you know, promote herself, if you will. So after this, Jax go for a run, and then she link up with the daddy. And they link up at a funeral home. And when I saw them linking up at this funeral home, I was like, this is a foreshadowing of some sort. Couldn't put my finger on it, but I was like, this is definitely a foreshadowing. And also, last episode, I started getting a notion. I don't remember if I said it at the end of the last episode or if I was like, I want to hold it until I see what happens on this episode. But I'm going to briefly say it. I'm going to say it in like vague terms. I was like, wait, there were some reveals of infidelity, like adultery type shit. And if I go back through the other reviews and the commentary that I gave about Lewis and Tony's situation with the baby and all of that good shit, you know, you'll know what I'm getting at. I was like, that shit was revealed. So wait, if I'm right, there's some inevitable deaths that are waiting to happen. So like when she pulled up to the funeral home, I was like, ooh, fuck. So stick a pin in that. Jax bring punk ass Paul from being Mary Jane up here, so that she could tell him, you know, for years of my life, I thought that this is where I would end up, you know, seeing you again, seeing him at the funeral home type shit. And she let him know that she met up with Chelsea, and he like, look, don't let her get in the way of what we built, okay? You can't let her tear us down. She's tearing us down. And so he started trying to badmouth Chelsea, talking about, look, she done been in some trouble. It's her idea to try to get some money out of you, okay? I ain't been there for either of you, and the guilt is eating away at me. I want it back into your life genuinely to make things right with you, all right? It's just so much. Y'all killing me with this. I don't even know how to hog tie people. Jax is tearing up, and she like, look, every time I reached out to you and I didn't hear back, I knew the next place that I would find you was at this goddamn funeral home. So let me just tell you, honey. Let me tell you. I'm sorry you was an addict. I'm sorry you had a disease that took over your life, that made you abandon me, made you abandon your family, your friends, and everything, and everyone you ever claimed that you love. And I'm even more sorry that one of those people was me. Because despite your absence from my life, I loved you so much, okay? You gave me no reason to love you, and yet I still did. Can you imagine how much love you would have received if you got back even half the love that I had given you? But no. You just walk back to where you hurt. And so now I need space because I'm unsure about a lot of things. He like, look, I'm not going nowhere this time, baby. This is my sorry for 2004. She said, look, I might believe you, but now I need some time to decide if I even want a father or even a sister for that matter, because clearly it's a possibility that I probably can't have both. Tisk. Now, honey Jax, I'm gonna have to give you your thanks for this one right here. This was some real strength right here. This some real strength and confidence, very well integrated and balanced with the vulnerability. Okay, my girl is a very strong, soft, strengthfully delicate woman, real Jax. Okay, going all the way up for your girl in this moment because she did that. All right, because I know plenty of people that probably would love to have, you know, that type of exchange with their parent, and not in a sense of like glorifying the divide, the turmoil that's going on there, but getting the shit off of your chest, getting it off of your chest in a way where you are literally in your confidence to where it's exuding off of you, even though you're crying, even though you're vulnerable, you strengthful in this vulnerability in a confident manner to where it is exuding so strong that no matter how many times you try to have the conversation with this person and they gaslit you and they villainize you and they try to get over on you and blame you and make you the villain for just speaking up on what you're speaking on, in this moment, because she was so stable in her strengthful vulnerability and confident in it, her daddy could not fucking con her. He couldn't even feel it in himself to even like really do it like how he would usually do it for real. That's how you know you in alignment. That's how you know you in alignment in a moment. When a motherfucker done gaslit you so many motherfucking times, so they should be confident, right? It also remind me of the end of Enough, where she's like, what's wrong, Mitch? What's wrong? You hit me without a thought so many times before. What's wrong now? Shouldn't it be easy? Oh. But no, it wasn't easy for him in that moment, because by that time, your girl had done built up her prowess. She had done built up her self-esteem, her self-confidence, and her might. She was confident in her shit. Not just because she had went through the physical training, but also because she allowed her experiences to learn her something. Amongst, she had a good coach that not only physically trained her, but also psychologically trained her on some shit. Was in tune with, you know, what she had been through and what she was going through. So by the time she got to the end to confront that man, okay, he didn't know what to do. Before she had even done anything for real, he was shooketh. And like she said, so many times, he had hit her point blank without a thought, without a fuck to give. But in that moment, as she was standing in front of him, confident in her shit, confidently vulnerable, my nigga, strengthfully vulnerable, my nigga, 10 toes down in what the fuck she was there for. And the energy that she was giving had that nigga stuck. Okay? Period. And if you know that movie, or if you watch that movie, it was only in the moments where she started second guessing herself where he was able to like take them fatal blows at her type shit. And of course, she's a woman, he's a man. That's why her mentality and her emotions had to be stabilized type shit so that she could be swift, not only to take her shots and land them accordingly, but also to dodge shots. Because like that's the thing, if a woman is fighting a man, like she needs to be trained thoroughly in such the way through the psyche, the mental, the emotions, and as well as the physical, very specific in dodging shots a lot of the time, because one hit from a man to a woman can't take her up out the game. So that's why it was hella important for her mental and all that shit to be in alignment. And like I said, that's why whenever her mental got off, whenever her emotions got too involved in the moment, then Mitch was able to take them fatal blows at her type shit. That's why that man taught her how to play dead. Taught her how to play dead, because in the midst of her playing dead, she down there meditating. She down there meditating, get her mind and body and soul back right, okay? And just when he's enough of a coward, he will try and kick you. Oh, yes it is. But anywho, back to the show. So, Jax tearfully yet strengthfully. Heads out, honey. Heads out. Lisa daddy out there, they part ways. We pick back up with Ozzy and his crew back over at his ranch. They all turn it up. Everybody is there. It's a family affair. Let's get it pumping, jumping on the floor. We're in this dancery. Let's get it twerkulating while you're waiting. So just dance for me. Come on, everybody, get on down. They want Ozzy to take a bump, but he ain't trying to do it tonight. He's trying to stay on the right track. Honey, but they is making it hard for you, boy. Time is slipping away from him. Your boy is laying after powder on his hand. That's one of his friends, honey. This some red powder. Absolutely the fuck not. Wasn't they talking about Diddy had some pink coke or something like that? Some pink ecstasy or some type of pink powder? Well, honey, they got red powder in here. It's a red light special, and it ain't the one that TLC him was talking about. It look like some shit that had you on TLC being a cautionary tale. But I just said, hell no, to the no. Left his own house. That was a red flag to me. He went over to Jack's house, but the fact that he left his own house and left all them people there, that's a red flag to me. When people get put in certain positions in their own home and they leave, something about that be off to me. Just one way or another, it'll be off. it makes me feel like they need an adult, that they are not stable. And not necessarily like they stable, like they gonna go do something to somebody, but not like they're not stable because you left your own damn house. You know, okay, we'll just take a opinion in it. But anywho, pressing forward, he go over there, he joined in for dinner. They all having a good old time, okay? Connecting as a family. He does seem, really refreshed, really relieved, and even more like a normal person. Like it really seems like the first time he's ever been able to breathe in life, like for real. And it is very refreshing and good to see his skin is popping. All right, the makeup artists have been makeup artists this season. I also want to point out how refreshed Lewis looks as well. Lewis had been looking stressed a lot this season, also, and he finally looks refreshed. His hair look hydrated. All right, and everybody is commiserating and having some real good interactions, including the mama is there and all the things. It's a whole lot of I love yous and everything. And Ozzy want to take a picture. Well, the daughter Naima, she want to take a picture with Ozzy. They take a picture. Now, as everybody scatters out, Jax got to pull Isaac on over to the side. And she ends up telling him that he gonna have to go to rehab. Because it's in his best interest in general. And then also, he on a high right now from the trial ending, but he gotta know that he's gonna have some aftershock stuff coming up. There's still some ongoing issues that he had before that are not automatically solved just because he's not on trial no more. So he got to keep going to therapy. And like she said, she is going to arrange for him to go to rehab. And he don't need it because he been sober. Jack said, you been California sober, which, essentially is referencing he's still been doing weed and having a little sip of wine or so here or there type shit. That's not like totally sober. That's not the sober that he would need as well. And she's steadily emphasizing to him, and she starts also including, because at a certain point and sooner than later, you'll start getting more book deals, calls, casting calls, things of that nature. And you're going to want to be more stable this time than before. And the people from Haven Renewal are on their way to take you in right now. I feel like that's fucked up and dangerous for her to do. You could at least gave him a weekend or something, a week or something. Like, damn, he had come over to, he was trying to escape the drugs. And he came over to, and then now, he probably thinking he gonna be able to just go sit on the couch, find him something cool on TV to watch real quick, let his food settle. But nah, Jack said, take 20 minutes. So they gonna be here in 20 minutes to scoop you and carry on off, Blanche. If you don't know what Streetcar Named Desire is. But that's what I'm referencing. The character from A Streetcar Named Desire. And yeah, child, she done called the people on them for them to come and scoop them, like Blanche, child, to take them in for rehab. Blanche wasn't going to rehab. She was going to a psych ward. But yeah. Child, they have a lot in common, actually. If you don't know, you should look it up. But Ozzy and Blanche Dubois, yes, from A Streetcar Named Desire, they have a lot in common. Ooh, her and Monica have a lot in common too. Child, I wonder if they were thinking at all about A Streetcar Named Desire when they was writing on this season. I didn't even think about that until just now, but ooh, child, that's a hell of a reference, honey. So yeah, Jackson's telling him, baby, they is on their way. Yeah. They on the way. And so he starts snapping on her. He you no different than my mama, my dad, Monica, all of them. She no, I am different because this is not about me at all. This is about you. I love you, Isaac, and I'm treating you the way your parents should have treated you. Okay. So before I tell my total thoughts, he started crying and whatnot. He can't go to rehab. I can't do this. You killing me with this. I don't even know how to hold top people. Fuck. She look, go to Spencer's room, settle your thoughts, okay? And you call whoever you need to, okay? He okay. All right. And as he is walking off, he turns around, looks at her very painfully, bro. When he turns around, I was like, bro, he finna go in there and kill himself. He say, I'm so mad at you, but I love you too. And this, out of all the things that he done said the whole season, I believed him the most when he said it. I do believe that there's some real love going on here. I believe that Ozzy is a real lover, and had he not been brought up in that family, he would have been able to be a real lover in a way that he would have had the capacity to materialize, in the form of actions for real, his love for himself and others. But because it is what it is, he does not really have that capacity. I'm gonna start addressing some other shit as we get through this. First of all, once again, the guy playing him is absolutely motherfucking amazing. I'm talking about he need all of the rewards. If even for just that one moment, But nah, but this whole season, that boy been acting his face off. It's like he act his face off and then act another one on and then act it off again and act another one on, honey. It's up. And I love to see it. And I truly hope that that actor stays out of trouble for real, and does not Jonathan Majors himself. Because the last time I felt like this about an actor was, besides Damson Idris, was Jonathan Majors. And shout out to Damson Idris. He's still out here trucking, honey. We love to see it. So, young man, playing Ozzy, please, 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 please deprogram from this role. Okay, do not get lost in the sauce of this role to the point it started spilling over into your real life. Okay, prayers up for the actor that played Ozzy, y'all. For real, prayers to him, so he stay on the right track and keep thriving in the upward direction. All right, in all of the ways on and off stage. Yes, God. All right, so yes. So the people show up at the door for to get your boy. And bro, I could imagine people who do this job for real, that do house calls to pick up folks and escort them to the rehabs and all of that shit. It's not something I've ever thought about that much until, seeing this. So I really highly appreciate the depiction, because I can only imagine if even one time they've experienced showing up to escort someone to rehab and that person ain't made it, whether it was just one last ruha or whatever for the road that went too far, or they literally took themselves up out of here to avoid the whole thing. So before I get too deep into that, pressing forward, they up at the door, coming in. Jax is escorting them back to the room. She go get them. So this is the scene that we've been seeing of her going to the room, knocking on the door like, hey, it's me. Can I come in? No answer. So she goes ahead and walks in and sees him laid out. And I do believe that I said my prediction of this before, because I remember feeling like him ODing the first time was a foreshadowing, because I was like how many times can he do, like, he got a problem, like how many times can he do that? And it also seemed like a thrill seeking thing, because he was giving me, like, if you ever seen the movie 13 or familiar with it, there's a form of thrill seeking that certain people do, particularly certain people who are drug addicts, where much like people who get a kick out of playing with their pressure points, making themselves pass out and shit, there are the type of thrill seeking addicts that get a kick out of ODing themselves. Like, they get a kick because there's an experience of euphoria that sets off in your system when you are at the threshold of death. You can also hear certain people talk about this, women who gave childbirth without any medication. They'll talk about having like a euphoric outer body experience type shit. And don't get lost in the sauce of the term euphoria as it concerns like pleasure exactly, because it's not always that. But yeah, it's about, because pleasure is subjective in certain cases. Like, that's why the term sadism and being sadistic is a thing. And I talk about this a lot in discussing spiritual work and doing spiritual work and things of that nature. Especially, there's always somebody asking for a love spell, and I'm like, the only person you need to be doing a love spell on is for yourself, and with the intent to heighten the frequency of your perspective of love. And with that, it will bring you face to face with the rawness of what your perspective of love already is. That taps into what I was just saying. A lot of people have these sensations of love, sensations of respect, sensations of pleasure, but their perspective of it ends up warping their capacity and or completely draining and zapping, blocking their capacity to materialize it in the form of proper action. So that's also why, again, when you think about BDSM and things of that nature, people being sexually assaulted, that's something that can warp one's perspective of pleasure and can make them feel like the only way that they can experience pleasure is through painful acts. Okay? So I just said all of that to say, to like give extra perspective to what I'm speaking on when it comes to Ozzy, and the types of people I'm using as a reference to what I feel like I was getting off of his first OD. And I'm gonna speak more on that, but I feel like from that first OD, I had got the feeling that Ozzy may have that type of thrill seeking where he likes to OD himself to some degree. He likes to overdo it. He likes to fade to black when he is on his thing, because he likes getting to that highest point of euphoria, that intensity, and dying and coming back. And so I'm gonna stick a pin in that for a second. So Jax enters the room and she's trying to get him to come get up, trying to get him to get up and all of that. And it is extremely sad as fuck. And I knew that this fucking season had themes of tragedy. I knew that both Jax and Ozzy were being set up for a drastic fucking fall. And here it is, honey. And they did a magnificent job at the catharticism. Like I said, the catharticism, especially as it concerns tragedies. If you're familiar with how tragedies go and how tragedies feel to read and to watch, you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. Because that feeling of knowing that it's a lose-lose, that it's bound to go straight to hell in some type of way, but still throughout the thing hoping that it goes differently, but you just know it's gonna fucking be hell and you steady bracing for the impact. That's a hell of a juxtaposition, ass type of feeling. You know? And I can only imagine how the actors felt throughout this process as well. So, like, shout out to all the motherfucking actors on this goddamn show and in this particular season, especially those that had major fucking parts in this season. And he also he passes away with his eyes closed. They're trying to revive him. It's a no-go. And in the midst, we're getting a lot of flashbacks to, you know, moments that they've had, all of that. Lewis is also right there by her side. Loves to see it. Loves to see that he is right there by her side, being her rock. But at the ops. The fire people show up, the medics show up, honey, and so motherfucking sad, honey. I almost fucking cried myself when she had something that was in his pocket that was a list of all of the normal people things that he had to do. the plans that he had was to, like, go to the store, go to the movies. I think he wants to go to the movies in the daytime, or he wants to, you know, to go to the movies and be there when everybody else is there. Honey, so motherfucking sad. The funeral was also done very beautifully. He had a silver casket, and it's back at the funeral home that Jax was just meeting her daddy at. Tisk. And I feel it appropriate to address what I was talking about when I was like, oh shit, you know, I felt it was a foreshadowing them meeting at the funeral home, and it brought back some shit from previous episodes, the inevitable death that I was speaking on from the spiritual sense when I was speaking on Lewis and Tony's situation, and you know, Jack's involvement in that as well. And the inevitable deaths that the different spiritualities spoke on and spoke to that are inevitable as a result of infidelity and adultery. And specifically in adultery, it's showing up more so in the literal sense of death, and more so in regular infidelity, you know, outside of marriage, it's showing up in more spiritual senses. But when it comes to marriage, it's showing up in that literal multidimensional sense of usually somebody dies, or some, you know, being of flesh literally dies amongst money issues, losses, home losses, things of that nature, loss of children, one way or another, like losses in different senses, not only in the literal sense, but also in the different senses of the term. And so, like I said, there was a reveal of adultery between Ozzy's parents, amongst not just them, the daddy cheating on the mama with an actual other woman, like having sex with a whole nother woman, but also the infidelity and adultery of all of the lies and the betrayal of themselves and each other. Again, you got to snap the fuck out of it, of thinking that, you know, cheating is only dick and pussy. And that's also what the spiritualities discuss, that before these adulteries materialize in the dick and pussy sense, it has to have already been going on the individual basis to some degree, on a spiritual, soul, emotional, mental level. They're already betraying themselves in some type of way. Either by being in a relationship that you know with a person that you know doesn't accept you and you're performing for love, or you know that you truly do not want that person, but you're settling because you feel like you have to, because it's been so many years, or it's so much money wrapped up into it. You forcing your son to betray himself by committing to a career that he is really not passionate about, that he really doesn't want to do. Having him betray himself, you betraying yourself, overlooking him being abused by someone, making him respect someone that is abusive to him. You're abusive to him, forcing him to respect and honor and revere you. All of that is infidelity. Betraying your kids in amongst of a marital household is also adulterous. Those are betrayals. It's also adulterous. It's also a form of cheating. And all of these different types of things can be going on in these different ways, emotional levels and all of this and that and the third, before it materializes in the dick and pussy sense of adultery and cheating, infidelity, and things of that nature. And I feel like that's highly important to understand. And I'm glad that they depicted this in such the way. I'm very glad that they depicted this in such the way, because it makes me even more glad that I went out of my way to do that research and to speak on it from such the perspective and in such the way, because tragedies are cautionary tales. And a major thing about a tragedy is inevitable death Inevitable loss. Inevitable, it ain't gonna fucking work out. It ain't no silver lining happily ever after. Y'all sitting up starting these kids out in hell. So it's gonna end how it started. Because it's starting how you want it to finish. You started off this boy's life killing him slowly. And so that's how it finished. Tisk. Ozzy was doomed from the start. He was born into doom. That's a major part about tragedy. The character is born into a doomed situation because their village is operating in a system that is doomed. Everybody keeps talking about win, doing all of these things that create inevitable loss. So it comes to question, what is, like, it calls everybody's motivations into question and everything that they said into question. Did you truly do it for the reason that you said that you were doing it for? Like Jax and the conflict that she's having at the funeral. Her wondering, is it her fault? Did she push him too hard? Is she the reason why he did this and why this happened? And this is where they say that it wasn't him trying to kill himself. He was just trying to have one hoorah before he went to rehab. I feel like it's a lot of things going on here. I feel like the answer is multidimensional as fuck, much like a lot of things that were going on in this season, much like a lot of things in life. I believe that he was trying to kill himself. I also believe that it was one hoorah before rehab. I believe he was playing Russian roulette. I believe that his mindset was very much so, I'm going to have this one last hoorah. And if this time they don't bring me back, because like I said, I believe he had a thrill-seeking addiction, whereas he liked to get so fucking high to the point that he fades to black, be it unconscious or literally like goes on over to the other side. And then people bring him back because that's the adrenaline cycle that he's been on. He kill himself and Kristen bring him back. He kill himself and Kristen bring him back. He kill himself and Kristen bring him back. And so I feel like with that lesson, his mindset said, if Jax really loved me, she'll find a way to bring me back. And if it's meant for me to truly live a life of renewal and have a true renaissance of my life type shit and go to rehab and become a new person and face all of these new truths, and I'm gonna get to that too, then they'll bring me back. And if not, peace out. So that said, like I said, I believe Ozzy took a gamble on some, if Jax truly loved me and if all of this is true, like if all of this stuff that she's talking about, I can have a true life of love and my career and live life like a regular person and be happy and at peace and all of that. If all of that is true, she'll find a way to bring me back. So I'm finna go take it up there and fade to black like I usually do. And if it's real, she'll bring me back. And if not, he'd rather be dead anyway than to continue to go through that same shit over and over again. And when we're talking about these truths, I also feel like a reason why he didn't want to go to rehab, he would prefer to do it the California sober way, is because if he was to go to rehab, they would put him through programs and constantly emphasize to him and hold him accountable in the fact that in order to truly recover and be totally sober, he has to cut out all of the secrets. He has to face the truth of everything that's been done to him as well as everything that he done. See, me, I ain't forgot what Cash Doll was over there talking about. I ain't forgot the stuff that we saw of him. I ain't forgot the rage outs that we did see from him. In different people's memories in the present time that we saw, I ain't forgot what his ex said. I ain't forgot. I did not forget. Okay? So he didn't kill Wendy. Great. This don't mean that he wasn't capable of being violent with several other people, let alone being violent with her. I can believe that he had been violent with Wendy before. I can believe that he had been violent with his ex-girlfriends, like one of his ex-girlfriends had said. I can believe he put hands on women. Because also, and we're going to get to that specificity, but when we get to the specificity of the person who put hands on Wendy was his daddy. If his daddy had a knee-jerk reaction, and granted, we can easily say, oh, Wendy spit in his face and she caught a reflex. I do believe that there are men who have the morals to not hit women at all, but then, like, if a situation was to happen of that nature, bitch might catch a reflex. However, my mindset behind that is your response after that first reflex is what tells the truth about that man. Because if a bitch catch a reflex and you continue to beat the shit out of her, something is fucking wrong with you. If a bitch catch a reflex and you sexually assault her like Jody on Baby Boy, something is wrong with you. And mind you, in Jody's mind, he wasn't sexually assaulting her. He was trying to fix the problem. But what the act of what he did was sexual assault. And his corrupted mentality facilitated that. Something is wrong with him. If a bitch catch a reflex and your response is to grab her, tie her up, and carry her off to a cabin and tie her up further and try to hold her hostage and try to bribe her and pressure her to not tell everything on you, something is wrong with you. And something was already wrong with you, because what have y'all been over here doing? What have y'all been doing to this girl that y'all don't want her to talk about, and that her friend, her assistant, was about to be talking about until Ozzy threatened to cut her ass implants out and shove them down her throat, which is some crazy ass shit to say to somebody. When she was out here talking shit under the notion of caring about the person that you claim to care about also. And so if you truly cared about Wendy, like talking about, and it's not in your nature to do any of the things that you're being accused of, let alone what Nisha, I think was her name, Cash Doll's character, was accusing you of, you would have a different approach to the situation. You would have more options as to, handling the situation besides, using force, threatening her with something that could kill her, trying to prove that you're not capable of killing someone. Yeah, I ain't forgot. And I don't want to hear, he has a mental health disorder. Plenty of people I know have mental health disorders. I got some disorders of my fucking own. I know plenty of people, the shit usually runs in people's family, right? Right? And so in several people's families, there are people who have the same mental health, personality disorders, and all of that shit, and they have different responses to it because that has more to do with your soul and how you are choosing to use your free will. Because, yeah, the system can be structured in such a way and say, hey, this is how you gotta do shit, but your soul will always tell the truth and how you use your free will. Message. So like I said, I ain't forgot. So, yeah, I feel like he tried to kill himself. I feel like he tried to kill himself as a gamble. And he didn't want to go to rehab because he didn't want to face the truth. He didn't want to tell the truth as he would have to in order to truly stay sober. And get up there and say, oh, no, I didn't kill Wendy, but I did put hands on her a couple of times. I did cheat on her, talk to her bad, degrade her, and humiliate her in front of my fans, whatever. Cheat on her type shit. My family probably, how shit be going. Like, look at certain other people's relationships and how they fucking families be getting into fights with their significant others and all of that shit. They be jumping each other and all types of shit. Ain't no fucking telling what type of ghetto ass debauchery they was over there trying to hide from the jump. I ain't forgot. And like I said, I feel like Ozzy's family, at least his mama and his sister, are going to be reoccurring throughout the next season as well. So I feel like it's going to be more that ends up coming out about the family. And y'all know also like how shit tends to go when somebody dies. All, if not most of the secrets start coming out unapologetically because now ain't nobody scared. Ain't nobody, worried about how they gonna react and if they're gonna start screaming and all this other stuff. They're gonna cut their ass cheeks out and shove them down their throat, I'm just saying. So in the midst of the funeral, a whole lot of people's priorities are fucked up while Jax and the kids and everybody else is like, distraught and really, taking it all in. So Bill is coming up. He's trying to apologize and talk about work and all of that shit. She like, if you don't get the hell out of my face, Stanley. Okay, a producer comes up and offers the mama. Well, I figured they were already trying to offer her a deal or whatever. They didn't get into exactly what they were talking about. We ended up seeing at the end that she doing an interview. So it's probably she gonna end up doing some type of docu-series on his life and all of this, that, and the third. So again, I wasn't even thinking about that exactly when I just said what I said, but it just brought it back to mind with further emphasis. Some more shit I feel like is going to end up coming out about this family within the next season, and at least his mama and his sister, as well as Monica, probably to some degree, is also going to be reoccurring throughout the next season, and we're going to end up finding out more about Ozzy, probably getting some more flashbacks just to give the actor who plays Ozzy a reason to come back and act in the show. I wouldn't be mad. I'm not usually a fan of flashbacks, but I wouldn't be mad in this case because they have shown and proven to me that they know how to do flashbacks with a purpose and in very great manners, in ways that is like in depth. It's not just, oh, we're gonna flashback here just to show you a little something real quick. Like, no, it's like it's all a part of the episode. Their whole scenes, like they are acting, like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, and we're getting like story and all of that shit. So yeah, that producer walked up while the mama was talking to Jax, and the mama was talking about he went over to your house for dinner. I had invited him for dinner too. Well, I guess you won because he chose you. And Jack's like, what are you talking about? Ain't no winners here. Like, what are you talking about? We all lost something here, especially Ozzy. Fuck. So yeah, like again, you see where his mama headed. You know what I'm saying? So again, you see where his mama headed. We know now how fucked up his goddamn daddy is. Also, this boy was doomed from the fucking start. And it's really fucking terrible. It's really fucking tragic. It is really fucking tragic. These are also some beautiful pictures that they have of him all around the funeral as well. And then, like I said, they up here having this conversation. You see where the mama head is. She's talking about competition and who won and all this other bullshit. And then all it took was for this producer to walk up and be like, hey, I want to talk to you, for her to go on by her fucking business. So, she just looking for $1 and for her goddamn spotlight. And that's all Ozzy meant to her any fucking way. That shit is fucking trash. So, in the meantime, in between time, Jax go round up Kristen and pulls her to the side because, honey, yeah, you got some splaining to do. And Kristen start, talking, and she like, look, I was scared, and I just thought Ozzy would be okay since I knew that we were the innocent ones. And just like, oh, hold up, okay, hold up. You see a baby's coming to you, what's the hold up? The innocent ones. So you didn't do it. Hold up, baby. I thought you did. Well, like, wait a minute. I was about to accuse Tori. You, baby. What do you mean? She's like, So, yeah, see, again, this is another reason why I didn't believe her story in the first place, because now she shook it almost down to the point, can't even fucking talk to her. Now, Jax is telling her, like, oh, okay, you just taking care of the family like you always take care of the family, huh? Lying for people all the time, putting everything on your back. Running. Stop running from yourself, Kristen. Tell me who it was. So then we get Kristen walking upon the father. Honey. And child, she walk upon the father. She say, look, it's been months and you won't acknowledge what happened. I think we should come clean. He like, look, you need to shut the fuck up. About what? Come clean about what? She like, what happened to Wendy? There are still people out there who think that Ozzy killed her. And he like, look, shit. And he taking a sip from his drink. And she like, look, ain't nobody finna be playing with you after everything that's happened. And this is what you want his legacy to be. He like, legacy. Legacy is gone to shit ever since you failed at your only job to protect Ozzy. All you do is fuck up. In this moment, something else occurs to me too. That both the mama and the daddy have been jealous of both of the fucking kids for doing and being everything that they can't find in themselves how to be. Honey, let alone the fact I feel like there's also jealousy and resentment that it's Ozzy's money that's been taking care of the family. And it's Kristen's hyper civilization that has been like the backbone of the fucking family. They're supposed to be, the parents that is, are supposed to be the patriarch and the matriarch, but the whole fucking time, you the damn dog, motherfucker. The grandma is the baby, the son is the daddy, and the grandma is the baby. All the dynamics is all fucking crossed up. The kids are the parents. In more ways than one, and also in the practical ways. And so this is also why we get in your boy going out of his way to degrade Kristen here and talk down on her like she don't ever do shit right and beg. Y'all created her and y'all the ones that raised her. So very, very similar to also how Jax's parents would handle her, where you gon' go in on them for not being what y'all didn't have the balls to pour into them, and what you didn't really want to pour into them for real, because if you did, you wouldn't be able to use them as good little slaves. Had you actually poured confidence in them, had you actually went out of your way to learn what confidence, love is, and all of that other shit, actual respect, self-respect, let alone. Had you actually went out of your way to do that for yourself, you know you would have poured it into your kid, and you know that they would have then been even more better than you. Yeah, it do be parents really truly strategizing how they're going to neglect their kids. And not only that, but how they're going to neglect themselves so that they can neglect their kids. So that they can try to do everything in their power for their kid not to be better than them. For them to be great, but not too great. Not better than them. Or at least even if they do get great, or if they do get better than them, they want to blind the kids and the dynamic from knowing how great they are. Pitiful. Pitiful. So yeah, he's standing up here degrading her, going in on her, and all this other bullshit, and ends up in the midst snitching on himself, telling the whole story. Which is, like I said, when Wendy absconded, she went over there to the house. He was there by himself, it seems, and Wendy was cussing him the fuck out, going off on him about the whole family, all of that shit, talking about she gonna expose everything. You got to know when to hold them and when to fold them, honey. Don't be telling everybody your next move, okay? Much like Nisha over there. Don't tell everybody your next move, baby. But yeah, child. So she doing all of this, that, and the third. He cuss her the fuck out. She spit in his face. He backhanded dog shit out of her. She hit her head on the table, passed out. They round her up, take her to the cabin, tie her up. He trying to, threaten her, all this, that, and the third. The thing come in, I pass out, all that. I done gave y'all the rundown of what happened already. I ain't got to do all the extra. Read all about it, pleasantries of it all. So, what I can't fill in the blanks on is when Wendy ran out into the woods, Daddy shot at her. He was the one that actually went out there and shot the gun at her. So he shot her in the arm, trying to disable her from being able to continue her scurry. She hides behind a tree. He come all up behind her like he Jason or something damn body. Instead of trying to pressure her to shut the fuck up. I kind of wish he would have shut the fuck up because, I love when the girlies survive to tell the story. But child, she was steady, going in on him like, fuck you, bitch, fuck all that. And that's another form of hubris also. Even though she got every right and reason to be cussing him out, saying fuck him, this and that and the third. I ain't even too mad about her spitting in his face because he ain't shit. Fuck him. That's how I feel about you, hoe. It's not a racial situation. It's a hateful situation. Nigga, fuck you. You hateful to me. This is how I feel about you. Bitch. That's why they call you. Bitch. Now what? Hoe. But there again, you got to know when to hold them and when to fold them. She was also operating in hubris in that moment. So that led to her fucking tragedy as well. You see? And also, Pete, prison is another form of death. It's another form of loss. When people go to prison, it's like a death. It's like a loss. You feel me? So yeah. All that said, he threatening her. All that shit. She cussing the fuck out. So he ended up smothering her and shit. It's terrible. It is terrible. Especially when all of this shit was so fucking unnecessary. But this is also what happens when people worship money. Wanting money is not bad. But when you worship money, and not even just money, when you worship fame, when you worship people worshiping you like you are some sort of deity or some fucking shit, you all caught up in narcissism and hubris and all of that shit, This is the type of shit that happens for no motherfucking good reason. No fucking good reason other than you're obsessive over money and people looking and doting all over you all the goddamn time. Can't handle no fucking criticism. But, and then mind you, the fish is right at the head. All of this shit is being facilitated by the parents. But motherfuckers love to say millennials and the younger are too sensitive. Get the fuck out of here. So this whole time, child, this whole time, let me find out Kristen gonna fuck around and get a job on the staff. Because she was wearing a wire. And so, soon as she say the code word after he done told the story, feeling all big in his britches, all right? In his hubris. Full in his hubris. Because he was already in hubris, but now he even more in hubris because he feel like he got away with some shit. Not only he feel like he got away with it with the court case turning out how it did, but also now Ozzy is dead. So I feel like he felt extra relieved. You know, probably conflicted because there was his son, but at the same time feeling relieved that continue to keep the secrets and move on, you know, with the same reputation as what he already had, you know, a few little extra things, but he ain't that worried about being seen as a cheating ass dude, you know what I'm saying? Anyway. So yeah, all up in his hubris in this moment, the rise before the fall to his death. That is prison. Shout out to Voodoo Dog TV. Now, after they arrest his ass, take him on up out of there, it's Daniel and Kristen alone in the room. And she apologized to him, and he apologized to her, and she loved him, and he loved her, and they kiss. And then she asks, "Will I see you again?" And he says, "Probably not." As he should. Get on up out of there. Get away from her. She is unstable, honey. Okay? In a perfect world, she could have got a job on staff, but she had a little too cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. She needs to be headed to rehab herself, mental rehabilitation specifically, for real, because caregiver burnout is a thing, and she killed the dog, and she got the guilt up on her. She got several monkeys on her back, and she need rehab for real. I do hope we get to see Kristen again next season. I want to explore her character. Now next, we're back at the firm, and it's announced that Bill has made partner. And Jax is like, holla. Okay, holla. You see a baby coming to you. What's the hold up? How y'all doing all this, that, and the third? And we ain't even had no official partners meeting. Excusez-moi, s'il vous plaît. So, going over her head and behind her back, disrespecting and disregarding. And so, she snapped on him, as she should, walks the fuck out. Bill is like, hey. I just want to explain to you, look, I got on their ass, okay? There's no disrespect on my end. I told them they need to be respecting you as a partner and all of this and that and the third. Basically, I feel like it's the similar speech as to what Cash gave, right? Jax's response to him was my response to Cash. And what she said specifically, you know, more specifically, in some of the words more specifically, I'm not quoting her perfectly, but she was like, oh, so you told them some shit that they should already know. You told them some shit that you been should have said when you been should have been coming to me and telling me everything that they was asking you and telling you and all of this and that and the third. Oh, now you want to tell me that, oh, you've been telling them that they need to respect my work and they need to do this and that and all of this and include me and this and that. But still, you accepted partnership without even there having been a full, thorough partner meeting with her included, giving her vote as well. You know what I'm saying? So she was like, okay, and you want what, a cookie? And bitch, I'm like, and I feel like I'm not mad at her for this response because she is absolutely correct. You done been here all this time to be forthcoming with her about whatever it is, but you didn't respect her enough. Even though I feel like he had some reasonable points with some of his concerns and suggestions and stuff throughout the process. But also, this shows that he did not respect her enough. And, you know, the way he handled it, not, you know, telling her that you telling on her, but you're not telling on them to her. So it's clear in his psyche who he sees as authority, even though all of them are on the same level. And Jax is actually even higher than him and then them in her accomplishments. So we see an implicit bias going on. Problematic, okay? So mindfully, he may not be mindfully racist or mindfully bigoted, but he has an implicit bias, and that is bad enough. Because clearly, you don't respect Jax like talking about enough, because if you did, you would have been telling her just as much shit as you was telling them about her. You wouldn't be just now giving her this rundown, especially after she done had to like peep certain shit over her shoulder, question certain shit, and hear some more shit from somebody else. My only critique is she should have had the same energy for Cash motherfucking ass. But I done already said what I said. I ain't got to go all the way back over it. The point has been made. That being said, too, it brings even more attention to me why they are positioned the way that they are on the covers. The characters, Cash and Bill, why they're positioned the way that they are on the covers is not just like because people want to see Tommy and Morris Chestnut. It's how their characters mirror each other. And it's a lot of mirroring in this season. And I will probably do a video just to go through all of the mirrored themes and mirrored characters. It sounds like some fun. So after she cuts him the fuck out, She goes into her office and she sits looking out the window. And who do she see? She see herself getting a box, about to march to her own beat. We said, oh, they was right. Those who predicted, her getting her own fern. We love to see it. Bum, 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 bum. Yes, in the red suit. Yes, hell yeah, hell motherfucking yeah. Real woman, real Jax. Hey, now, what's understood don't have to be explained. You understand? You understand? What's understood don't have to be explained. Okay? Yes. Now, before we get to the finalization of all of those things, we pop back on over to Lewis and Sam, his employee, coming on in there, about to give him his progress reports. Okay, and Lewis is looking over the assignment that he gave him. Instead of him critiquing him just straight up, he hands it to him. He hands the device with the assignment over to him. And he like, because he asked him, did you open this and that in the third? Did you see this and that in the third? And he like, yeah, I seen it, da da da. And so he hands him the device. He like, okay, go to it and show me, what you saw, what you seen, this and that, da da da. And basically, he wasn't able to do it. He wasn't able to find it and all that. And yeah, Lewis was like, yeah, it's because you didn't open it. Yeah, I know it's because you didn't open it. And you ain't been keeping it real. You've been lying and you've been playing me this whole time, and that ain't cool. So, Hottie, your time is up. And so he want to clap back on some sweetie shit. You see, no, see, you was telling me that you wasn't feeling me. But people are often projecting what they feel like are reflections of themselves. So maybe you're not feeling yourself. And Lewis is like, no, I'm just not feeling you. And I got full documentation on how and why I got every right and reason to not be feeling you. Boo, kitty. And now, that being said, big pimpin', ain't stacking no cheese. Use a little puppy and you can get to stepping. Real Lewis, real man. And not only does he send his ass packing, but through security. Okay? We love to see it. And on top of that, he gets to the house and he put it down with your girl Jax. Yes. Real Lewis, real Jax. Yes, honey. All right. And in the ending montage, amongst them, you know what I'm saying? Being real with each other. Okay. We get Bill walking on up to his new position in the firm. It's a nice suit he had on too. And then we see Ozzy's mama filming her docuseries, child. Oh, and then we see the baby. We pick up with the baby with Autumn. I remember the name, child. Autumn and the rest of the girls out on the town. Then we pick back up with Bill linking with Sally from the valley. And so we see they still gonna be fucking with each other. And I feel like Sally is telling him some good shit, right? So Sally might be a great black hope when it comes to Bill's implicit bias. She trying to be at least. Okay? And so she like, look, you need to unpack whatever that is, because we need you to be Bill who loves black women's, okay? Bill who is not all uptight and all of what he think he's supposed to be and this and that and the third. We just need you to be real Bill, real man, and stop tap dancing, all right? Stand up, all right? Okay, we're gonna see how that turns out next season. Now, in the final scene, child, and I forgot to tell y'all that for the funeral, what's her name? Monica was all outside with like the general crowd that couldn't get in, and she was looking like the halo on the outside, they can't get in. And she was looking she was looking distraught. She wasn't crying, but she was looking distraught, and she gave Jax a real cold look. And I feel like the look was of blame. Most certainly. I feel like she was looking at Jax and blame, like, bro, we kept him alive all this fucking time, and he got over there with your ass, and now he dead. I feel like from her perspective, that's how she feel. Which is fucked up. Because, honey, y'all are the reason. You was just killing him slow. And Weekend at Bernie's in him. The fuck? Anyway. Honey. Child. Bro, and then not to mention, I want to pinpoint that too, specifically. I feel like, too, a part of why Ozzy was struggling with his frequency of guilt, not only because there are things that he had to be guilty for, even though it wasn't killing Wendy, I also feel like the results of sexual abuse tend to be like the abuser leaves their baggage with the person that they're abusing, and it's like they take pieces of their light type shit. And so this leaves the victim feeling guilty, feeling all of the guilt, all of the evil, all of the anguish that the abuser is actually supposed to be feeling, but they left that baggage with the victim. And so this is like what sets up a crossroads with victims, a long crossroads with victims where they're steadily having to, try to figure out which one they resonate with the most, which one they feel they're supposed to resonate with the most, amongst a lot of the time a bunch of people dogpiling on them, telling them what the fuck happened and they weren't there, telling them how they should feel and they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, telling them they lied and again they weren't there, don't know what the fuck they're talking about, or just protecting the abuser or whatever. And that's fucked up too, because if you believe the shit and then you just be like, oh well, it don't matter, I'm gonna protect this abuser, that's some fucked up shit too, like damn. And so all of that can not only re-traumatize but can send off messages in the victim's minds that it's their fault, that everything is their fault, that they are guilty, that guilt is a part of their identity. And so that being said, and not just with sexual abuse, but it's just, I feel like it is different with sexual abuse because of how sexual abuse like happens, because like sex is spiritual, like a mug. We're all spiritual beings, but sex is a very spiritual portal type thing, spiritual threshold type thing. Because also, like I said, these same effects can happen in a deep sense, but just not in the most fertile sense, like with sex, but even with physical abuse, emotional abuse, and the abuser leaves baggage with the victim that makes them feel like how the abuser is actually supposed to feel. As the abuser just keeps walking away with bits and pieces, chunks of the victim's light. And so, like I said, we're in this long ass crossroads of them trying to figure out, it's a light and dark army, which side you choose type shit. So, honey, so like, not only do I feel like that's why he had a hard time with the frequency of guilt amongst all of the other shit that he did, acting out and all that other shit, but also, with that said, a lot of the times with abusive dynamics, even if and when the victim leaves, it's like they have to leave mentally after they leave physically, and then they have to leave emotionally, and then they have to leave spiritually. Like, it's not enough just to leave. And this is why Ozzy did need rehab, not even just for drugs. He also needed rehab for like to heal from all of the abuse that he experienced, not even just the sexual abuse, all of the abuse that he had experienced. Because like I said, when the victim leaves, that's just the first part, that the physical part is just the first part. They didn't have to leave mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, because amongst that baggage has a bunch of tools and rules and directions on how to continue the abuser's work. So a lot of the times the abuse teaches the victims how to treat themselves. So they'll leave, but then they are stuck in cycles of self-harm. And this can be through literally what they're doing to themselves through drugs or acting out sexually, and or out the frying pan into the fire, constantly replacing their abusers with more abusers. And not saying that they're doing this mindfully. Not saying that they're doing this mindfully. I'm really speaking more that is more so a mindless thing. They're just constantly trying to create more memories that are different, but they haven't germinated the situation. So they just keep attracting the same spirit in different skin, because also they're used to the cycle. They're used to the adrenaline cycle. Similar to what I was explaining about, my theory on Ozzy's type of adrenaline, thrill-seeking addiction type shit. That similar thing is also present in like abusive relationships, the highs and the lows, the break it down and build it up, and the endorphins and dopamine and cortisol and all of that shit that's released in the body and the mind and all of that shit. You get addicted to it, and all of that in the juxtaposition and trying to figure out. It's also why I spoke so deeply as well on the perspective, because Ozzy was getting physical pleasure from his abuse, so that warped his perception of pleasure. So Ozzy could be experiencing inflictions of pain, but his perception would channel it and receive it as pleasure. He's pleasured by it. And even though it could still be, it's things that can show it on a machine, like what it's doing to your body, right? Somebody beating your body and how it's causing damage to your mind and your nervous system and your nerves and all of that good stuff. Even though the person could be experiencing what they feel like is pleasure from it, maybe even orgasming and things of that nature, but it would still show in more ways than one, but specifically there are ways that it can show up on machines and shit like that. But yeah, it would still show the damage that's being done to the system, despite the fact that you're quote unquote getting pleasure from it. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, all of that to say, it's easy for Monica to feel like, oh, we done kept him alive all this time, da 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 da. But no, y'all were killing him slow, and y'all were teaching him not only how to perform and receive your abuse with a smile, and how to experience sensations of pleasure from you breaking him down and killing him slow, but you also taught him how to do it to himself even when you're not around. So no, bitch. You do not get to feel like it's Jack's fault that he's now dead because, we kept him alive all this time. Like, even the daddy was talking that shit. Like, no, fuck y'all. Fuck y'all. Fuck y'all. Because y'all Maybe your intent was to teach him how to kill himself slow. Like, go to hell. The fuck? So yeah, child. As we wrapping up on the last scene, Monica, old buckethead raggedy ass, walks up in Jax's establishment. They is in there, unboxing stuff, carrying boxes in. It's her, Daniel, and Lewis. All right, they getting all of the things together. Crystal is there. Oh wait, no, Crystal ain't there. They ready for Crystal to see the place. That's what was said. Child, in the midst, and I thought this was probably Crystal at first, but oh no, it's Monica with the Mercedes 7 pounds of pressure brakes with a Glock 40. I don't know if that's the type of gun it is. I just wanted to say Glock 40. But child, she walk in there with a 9mm, ready to go off any minute, so you feel it. Because of the law, she had to conceal it, but they done fucked around and they made her reveal it. Child, so we leave off on the cliffhanger of her done let the shot ring out. So we know that somebody got. It's a couple of ways they can play this, child. They could play on our top. And on the first episode, they do some Hail Mary shit like, I don't know, Daniel immediately pushed Jax out the way, and Lewis hurry up and he dodge and he push Monica out the way and take the gun from her and he hold her down until the cops come. I would hope that that's not what they do. But I just feel like they like to play mind games with So child, I'm like, what if don't nobody even get shot? What if they just want to fucking stress us the hell out just to fucking give Lewis a heroic, like a straight up fucking Superman ass moment on the first episode? It's starting his arc for season 4 where we get deeper into his Superman origins. Child. But like I said, I would hope they wouldn't do that. I hope that no one dies. But I have a very, I don't know, I feel like Daniel got. I feel like Daniel got. Oh my gosh, I feel like Daniel got. Because I feel like, one, I feel like they did this thing where some writers, they like to draw you into a character so they can fucking kill him. So they can fucking break your heart like that. And all season, I felt like that's what they was doing to Daniel. Especially they know that we already got stressed out from some of his experiences already, trying to do stuff for Jax and shit. And also, he is very self-sacrificial for Jax. Lewis is protective of Jax. I do believe that Lewis would take a bullet for Jax, but I believe that Daniel being even more self-sacrificial for Jax would jump out in front of Lewis and Jax, like just straight up out GP type shit and eat that shit. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I hope that don't nobody die. My other theory is Lewis could get shot, but they won't kill him. I don't think they'll kill him. I don't know, I'm scared, y'all, because I just thought about that inevitable death shit when it comes to the adultery. And we could see Ozzy as that for Jax as well, because of how attached she got to him amongst it happening in her house and all of that, all of the strings attached in that way. But also I'd be like, damn, what if they would fucking take Lewis up out of here just to like make everybody, including Jax, appreciate him more? But I would hope the fuck not, because also not only do I like Lewis's character for real, but I also love the actor that plays him, and I be feeling like every time he get on a show, he be like, it be going so well, and then it be some bullshit. So I want my guy to get all of his guts. Because also this cliffhanger reminded me of the ending of Our Kind of People, and that show only got 1 season. It ain't really got too much to do with nothing. It just reminded me of it, and it triggered me because I was like, that show only got 1 season, and that was like one of the last shows that I had seen McKinley on, the guy that plays Lewis, because he had played on the main character's baby daddy on there. Yes. But anyway, child. My other theory is Lewis could take the bullet, but they ain't gonna kill him. They might just have him in a coma for a couple of episodes, but in that time we'll probably get a lot of flashbacks of their relationship as well as his life also, and get more background information on him. And I feel like that's another way that the writers could evoke more appreciation for Lewis's character, because I do think that they have been intentionally presenting him in a way and having him be presented in a way for him to be polarizing in a way where it's like a lot of people are more conditioned to just call him a bitch type shit in simple terms. But yeah, all that said, I do think that they need to give us more information on Lewis. We need more information on Lewis as a person. They need to personalize him more, if you will. Much like I was saying about Autumn, they need to personalize her as well too. I want to know more than she's the lesbian friend. She's defying the odds because she is married, and we got that indication there that she is, in full advantage of the modern day liberties and such. We love to see it. We love to see it. She's also a therapist. Okay, define more odds there. Okay, we love to see it. We love to see it, and we want to see more of her personal life, so we can see more of her personality and all of the things. And like I said, with Lewis too, because I want to see more of who he was before Jax, and what's the transitions and what's his roots and all of the things. You feel me? And so yeah, that's my theory. My other theory is Jax might get shot. I feel like it's a possibility that Jax got shot, and this would have her rethink her life as fuck, because yeah, she had got kidnapped and shit that time, but it wasn't nothing that was inflicted upon her that could like potentially be a fatal blow. Her getting shot and the thought of not knowing where the bullet went that could psych her the entire fuck out, depending on where the bullet goes, she could be the one that ends up in a coma. You know what I'm saying? For probably not, it'd probably be like an episode or an episode and a half, and we'll still like probably get flashbacks or something like that. But yeah, she could end up in a coma, or they could cover all that in one episode the way they be range out. Anyway. But all in all, they could have her just really rethink the fuck out of her life and how she want to live it. And that would be an interesting shift in trajectory for her too. Like shifting mindset, shifting character development. Goddamn. Yeah. But I don't know, child. They did the most. This episode was stressful, bruh. But the episode was magnificent. The season was magnificent. I honestly, certain shit got on my fucking nerves like real bad. I also feel like the writers changed their mind at the last minute. I feel like they probably originally wrote it where they wanted to mirror the first season and have Ozzy be the one that did it, but they changed it at the last minute because probably they was like, well, what if we like they probably was afraid of how the reaction would be to that, like, oh, y'all just did the same thing from last season. And also, I do feel like they wanted the necessary conversation about suicide, especially black male suicide, because like I said, they wrote in the script, of course, that how he died was just a last hoorah type shit. But even how I've seen shit play out in real life, like with certain friends of mine who I know of who have done such a thing, a lot of the time they don't want to say that straight up. They don't want to tell everybody, like usually the family and or I feel like even the people in the position that's doing the autopsies and shit, I feel like they probably even, have their own belief system that conflicts in them just calling a thing a thing. A lot of people do not want to call a thing when people commit suicide. But a reality is the black male suicide rate has increased drastically. And I have seen it in my own fucking backyard. A lot of my classmates from high school, college and shit, black males have committed suicide. And so, like I said, I feel like their original plan was to have Ozzy be the one that did it. But at the last minute, probably, or at some point, they were like, wait, there's a hell of a lot more that we can do with this character, and not just with the character, but with the character's story and what the character represents. And so, like I said, a lot of shit this season got on my fucking nerves, but that doesn't mean that that's a bad thing. So, if you ain't know, now you know. Just because I say some shit gets on my fucking nerves about a show or gets on my nerves about a character, it doesn't mean that I think the character is bad or that the show is bad or, I'm discounting anything that's going on, because I can feel like, oh, this shit get on my fucking nerves and have an appreciation for it because I understand what it represents and or I can come to an understanding of what it represents for me. So, yeah. That being said, amongst, like I said, a lot of shit this season and this episode alone got on my fucking nerves. However, it was all very, 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 very excellent writing, excellent acting, just excellent, honey. Everybody excelled. They was excellent without excuse. Yes, God, and we love to see it. Our real actors, real people, okay? And majority black cast, all black leading cast. Yes, God, we love to see this form of black solidarity. Yes, I told you it's a time and place for everything. So, wow, this is the end of the reviews for Reasonable Doubt right now, at least for season 3. I might spin a block on season 1 and 2 at some point. We shall see. Howsoever, my next Reasonable Doubt content will more than likely be me doing reviewing commentary type shit, analysis on the soundtrack of this season. And specifically also how it applies to the overall episodes and things of the show, but also how it applies to the specific scenes that is playing over. So yeah, stay tuned. Also, now that I'm done with this, I'm gonna be back in effect with the Bernie Mac reviews, the My Wife and Kids reviews, and the Living Single reviews. I ain't forgot. I'm trying to get back on the Lovecraft Country reviews, but they keep playing around with where Lovecraft Country is located. So, in due time, child. In due time. But with all that being said, child, if I do say so myself, honey, I have milked this conjurer, and I am thoroughly appreciative for the exchange of vibes. And if you're feeling synchronized, please do me a divine design and like, share, and subscribe so that you can be one of the first to be back through this queenly quality fault next time. And be sure to bless that comment section with your questions and conversations. And as always, I bid you in all ways light, love, healing, and liberation. Emphasis on liberation. Mwah.